understanding of the pupil of the eye can be described perfectly in the story behind my painting. The main story behind my painting, which is when I was in college, I was working as a volunteer at a woman and children's shelter in Roxbury, Mass, which is a rundown neighborhood in Massachusetts, in Boston. And I remember one spring day, it was April, and the sky was gray and cloudy. Everything was just kind of more rundown looking. There was paint flaking off every building that I passed, chain linked fence, which was in disrepair, rusted. I didn't see a single spark of beauty in that whole walk from the train to where I was at the time that the story happened. I all of a sudden saw this woman. She had to have been in her 80s, just walking down this uneven sidewalk with her walker or her cart, I can't remember. And right before she passed me, she stopped and she smiled, the biggest smile I had ever seen. And she looked at me, this little spoiled white girl with a frown on her face, and then looked at the flowers that were jutting out from the chain link fence. They were just ordinary weeds jutting out. And she picks one up in her hand and asks me, "Aren't these beautiful?" And I looked at her and I was just shocked for a moment because, yeah, they were beautiful. And that story has always stuck with me because from that moment on, and I mean, maybe not exactly from that moment, but something sparked in me where this ability to find beauty in even the most mundane or rundown places started to grow in me. And now I have that. And it was this African-American elderly woman who lived through Jim Crow, who even knows what tragedy she has seen in her life. And she was able to stop for a spoiled, or presumably spoiled white college girl on her sidewalk and share her beauty with her. And to me, that speaks to both nobility and resilience of African Americans in general. This woman had no hatred towards me. She shared her smile. She shared her beauty. She allowed me to have that. And because of her, and I see with her that despite all of the pain she's gone through from people that look like me, she didn't care. She transcended that. And it shows me how resilient she is, how noble, how good she is. And I thought it was beautiful. My responsibility as both an artist and a human being, as a white woman growing up in a predominantly white area, or living in a predominantly white area or neighborhood, I feel like my responsibility is to educate myself, to understand the situation that we still are going through today with racism, because I feel like racism is much more subtle than it used to be, and perhaps even more permitted because of that. But also to stand up physically, verbally, not physically in a violent sense, but if I see injustice anywhere, at a store, in line trying to buy something, if somebody is treating somebody differently than they're treating me, it's my responsibility to stand up, because that person who is doing that probably doesn't even realize they're doing it. Thank you.